This next lesson, which is money, comes up so much in relationships. We feel this is one of the main reasons for arguments in relationships. So we want to go deep into this whole realm of money in relationships. One of the main things that causes arguments is money because we don't have a true understanding about money in relationships. It's a tricky situation because what works for one couple may not necessarily work for another couple. You could be listening to your mate, to your mate's friend, or your mate could be listening to his friend about different things that they do in their relationship when it comes to money. That may not necessarily work for you. So, what we want to do in this lesson is go over different things. We have different questions, different activities that we want to show you. We're going to go over so that we can fine tune your relationship and your financial needs or your money needs. So, we'll work up a plan specifically for you and your mate that will help you get through those money issues and help them not arise. Also, in one of the later weeks within this lesson, we're going to have you speak to a financial specialist that's on our team. So they specialize in showing couples how to work financially within a relationship. And finally, we'll come up with a plan so that you guys can start working from the next day how to work that your relationship with the money strategies that we go over with you. Then finally, let's look at this slide or this lesson. This says, what does money mean to you in the relationship? This is going to be different for each and every different person because one person may believe, well, money's not a big issue for me in a relationship, where someone else could say, yes, money is definitely a big issue. So let's dive in.
We have a couple different things we want to just go over in aspects of dealing with money in the relationship. So the first thing is understand if you are experiencing a money issue. Oftentimes we don't understand whether what we're arguing about is actually about money or if it's something else. And that all depends on if you know what money means to you within the relationship. So within a relationship, money can mean many different things. So it can mean love for you. It can mean self-esteem. It can mean notoriety. It can mean power, control. Oftentimes, for a lot of us, it means freedom. And so I think we just have to kind of dig into exactly what money means to you. And I'm going to give you an example. So, for instance, if money means love to you, right? If one of the things that you equate money with is love. So, in essence, if you are someone who loves to be showered with the finer things in life or be showered with gifts and that's what you thrive on. Now, that's not saying that you're a gold digger. Don't get that mistaken. We're not saying that you're a gold digger. We're just what I'm saying right now is that if money represents love for you, then you may be someone who understands that money represents love. So, in essence, whenever someone is showering you with gifts or buying you a new car, buying you a new house, or buying you a new pocketbook, or whatever it may be, that for you represents love. And you feel very much so loved when you're getting those things. And oftentimes, when you're not getting those things, you don't really feel the love. So, it just depends on exactly what money represents to you. And then the next point it says, be able to deal with any money issue that may arise. So that all goes back to the first understanding, right? If you are able to first understand exactly what it is that money represents to you, then and only then will you be able to deal with whatever money issue that may arise. So you can actually tell your partner, if I have money or if you have money, it makes me feel loved because then I know when you have money, you're going to shower me with the things that I love. And so that makes me feel loved. But if you don't know that and you can't identify that, then there is where the problem lies. And then the next one, it says learn money goals. So whenever you have something that you want to be a tangible item, you have to first write it down, right? So when you write it down and you understand this is what I want within our relationship. So when you write that goal down, you understand that, okay, in 6 months, we need to be making, or we want to be making, $200,000, just so that we know exactly what our goal is and why we need that amount of money. Do we need that money to vacation? Do we need that money to pay bills? Whatever it is that you need that money for, once you write it down, then it becomes clear, and then you guys can work on it as a couple, and you both know, okay, this is what we need, so that we can make sure that our wants is met as well as our needs are met. And then the next thing, it just says the money rules. What are the money rules? So, and this all depends on who you are, and who your mate is, and what exactly are your rules. In this relationship thing, oftentimes we get sidetracked by what the world's rules are. We have to determine exactly what are your rules. What are you what is your rule and what is my rule within the relationship? You don't want what society rules are. In a relationship, you have to determine exactly what are our rules. What are our rules for engagement in the aspect of money? When you sit down and you determine that. So, in essence, let me give you an example. Rules. A rule may be on the 15th of the month, we cannot spend frivolous money because this has to get paid, that has to get paid, and they all have to get paid with the check on the 15th of the month, right? Um, Another rule could be, hey, we have uh $200 a week to be able to spend if we want to go out or do whatever it is that we want to do. So that's a rule within your relationship. And one must not go over that rule. So it's not, when we say the money rules, we're not talking about the money rules that society is teaching, or that you hear in the world, or hear on social media, or hear from your parents. We're not talking about those money rules. At this point in your life and in your relationship, to have a happy and a successful and fulfilled relationship, you have to determine exactly what are our money rules as a couple. And then this last one, but not, it's the most important one here. It says don't allow money to rule. And that one is major. Oftentimes, if you ever see a couple um who don't have money, and I don't want to say a bum, but for lack of other words, I'm going to say a bum. So one who lacks money, if you ever see them, they're sad and depressed because they may not. So I'm going to say a homeless person, right? If you see a homeless person, they're sad and depressed because they don't have a home to live in. They don't have a warm um environment to go to at night, right? They may have to sleep on the street or live on the street. But if you ever get into a conversation with a homeless person, you will see that their outlook on life is much different than one who come from money, or one who has money. Um so in this, what I'm saying, to say, to sum it all up, is in a relationship, money is a major thing, but let's not make it as major as what society says. Um, is it better? This is just a question that one of my kids asked on their YouTube channel. And I said to myself, that's a good question, right? They asked, would you rather be rich with no friends or poor with a lot of friends? And the answer to that question all depends on where you are in your life. And so in your relationship, I want you to think about that. Is it more important for you to be rich but still have your mate, or poor? No, is it, excuse me, is it more important for you to be rich without your mate, or poor but still have your mate right by your side. So when we get into an argument about money within a relationship, these are things that we should think about. Would I rather have that person by my side every night? Or would I rather have money in my pocket? Would I rather have millions in the bank? We all want to have millions in the bank. But if it was the last day on earth and you had to make a decision, at that moment, if your decision is money in the bank, you might should reevaluate where you are in your relationship. What it is that you want to get out of your relationship, you may need to reevaluate. But I just want us to think about that. Think about that. Is it more important to have your mate without money than to have money without your mate? Take some time and think about that.
This next one says, does money or the lack thereof hurt the relationship? Now, this one is a little tricky. This one is basically on a relationship to relationship basis. So, one relationship may feel a specific way, and then another relationship may feel a different way. So, this is solely based on you and your relationship. Can you deal with money or the lack thereof in relationship? Will it hurt the relationship? Um,
So one thing my dad always taught me was the more money you have, the more you spend. So if you look at that, if you look at a celebrity, for instance, the more money they make, the more they spend. Why? Because they want a bigger house, they need more expensive cars, so then they have more expenses. And so it just depends on the amount of money that you have, the more money you spend. So what that tells me is in a relationship, we just have to figure it out and determine exactly what it is that we need the money for. Make sure we're making enough to make sure we have enough to put those necessities to be able to pay those necessities, but don't stress if you don't have it. Live your life and don't try your best. I know this is much easier said than done, but try your best not to argue with your mate over money because if it's something that they can't help, they can't help it. Now, if you have a mate who does not have the willpower or the go get mentality, and they're just sitting there and really not helping you, then that's a different story. And like Dwayne said, we'll go into that on a deeper level when we have, our one-on-one call so that we can actually determine exactly who you are and who your mate is and see how we can work on that and fix that issue.
and this final one says, how to help your mate get through money issues. Now, these money issues can be simple things like they don't know how to save money, or they don't have a job, or they spend frivolously. They buy sneakers, they're a sneakerhead, or anything of that sort. The issues could be anything. Now, how to help your mate get through these money issues is the key, because you must first know that it's an issue. You may know, but your mate may not know that it's an issue. Like, he could be. You want to say something?
Yeah, so he may not, or he or she may not know that that's an issue, and that's why the communication module is so important because it's not about making them feel like they have a problem. It's more about you being able to identify what their problem is and helping them figure out how we can work on that problem together. Because that's what it's about. And relationships is about 50-50. It's not about 80-20. It's not about 40-60. It's not about nothing else than 50-50. So we both have to be given our equal share. And if you're not pulling your weight equally, then it's my job to help you figure out um what it is that we need to do differently in a positive manner.
And another thing too is, and like we said, we'll dive deeper into it, but real quick, also, when you put them on a defense, that creates a whole different issue. So just dealing with those issues so that it can help you help them. I could just push there.
Right here we are with our accountability sheet. The first thing we want you to do is write down 3 to 5 common money issues in most relationships. So this may be issues in a friend's relationship that you know of. It could be issues in your relationship. We just want you to write down 3 to 5 common money issues in most relationships. And then we want you to choose one and explain the best way you can get your mate to understand from a positive perspective. So even if it's something that you and your mate don't have an issue about, maybe it's something that you know of that a friend or a sister or a relative or anyone may have an issue about, we want you to just choose one of those and then explain the best way to go about it to get your mate to undersee it in a positive, to understand it, excuse me, in a positive manner. And then the next thing we want you to do is choose one that you can work on yourself. So oftentimes, um, we don't like looking at ourselves. We can't really see ourselves, but we can see other people. And so, but what we want you to do is self assess at this point. We want you to choose one that you can work on yourself. All right. And then we're going to discuss it again on our one-on-one call. Until next time, help us help you take the madness out of matrimony.